Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Nancy McDowell. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. Welcome. On this chilly January, marking new beginnings, you chose to come together in community. Welcome to those who braved the cold and those of you who couldn't be here in person but are here online. Welcome. I always want to give a special welcome to those joining us for the first time or those coming back after a hiatus. Come gather in the fireside room, which is across the hall, after the service for warmth and conversation. The coffee helps too. Cold, it draws us together as a community. Dark, long nights make us want to get together with others in the mornings. When you come here, may you find friendship, calm, spiritual strength, inspirational music, and words of wisdom. Let me introduce our worship team today. We're excited to have Yvette McDonnell lead our worship today, her debut here at MLUC. Yvette is our congregational life coordinator when she isn't leading the worship. Time for all ages, special treat, led by Travis and Katie Billesbach-Scholl. Thank you both for leading that. Our worship associate is Tina Adams. David and Jodie Brown offer their musical talents, joined by Nathan Surles with his voice and guitar. Now kindly silence your electronic devices and join me in reciting our mission statement. Together, we transform lives through love, service, and our welcoming faith.
Drink from this fountain. Don't tell me no, 'cause I'm here, yes I'm here, yes I'm here to get in good trouble. Gonna sit with this counter. Don't tell me no. Stand in my power. Don't dare tell me no, 'cause I'm here, yes I'm here, oh I'm here to get in good trouble. Good trouble, good trouble, good good trouble. I'm gonna get in good trouble. I'm here, yes, I'm here. Oh, I'm here to get in good trouble.
Yes, we are here. And we light our chalice today as frozen earth holds the determined seed. This sacred space holds our weariness, our worry, our laughter, and our celebration. Let us bring seed and soul into the light of thought, the warmth of community, and the hope of love. Let us see together, hear together, love together. Let us worship. Before we sing our opening hymn, there's been a slight change to the end of our service, if you refer to the order of service. This was requested by our minister today. So after the sermon, our musical trio will perform the song, This Joy. And we will sing the closing hymn together as our postlude today. But now, please rise in body or spirit as we sing from our blue hymnal, hymn number 1017, Building a New Way.
Good morning. Today, for Time for All Ages, we will be reading The Storyteller, written by April Rosario.
Once upon a time, long, long ago, in a small village lived an old woman known as the Storyteller. She had been part of the village for as long as anyone could remember, but no one actually knew where she was from. It didn't matter, though. Everyone in the village loved her and sought her out because she was known to have the best stories in all the land.
She had a story for everything. Stories for times of joy, times of sorrow, triumph, and loss. Stories for when you were hurt or excited, stories that taught about love, and stories that shared wisdom about what to do when you were afraid. Every night, she would light her fire and wait for folks to join her. And every night they did, one at a time, to ask for the kind of stories they needed to hear.
When she was done, the villagers would often ask her if there was anything they could give her as payment for her stories, and her answer was always the same. Yes, she would say, you can tell me a tale from your life. But the villagers rarely did. Most often, they would leave her a small homemade gift instead and kept their own stories close, fearing judgment and ridicule.
One day, a young man, burdened by a painful past, approached the storyteller. He had lost his horse in a tragic accident, and the weight of his grief was more than he could hold. He pleaded with her to share a story that might offer him some peace.
The storyteller, with a gentle smile, replied, "The most powerful stories are not the ones we hear, but the ones we tell. Your story, though heavy, holds the key to healing."
Hesitantly, the young man began to share his tale of loss, his voice trembling with emotion. As he spoke, the storyteller listened attentively, her eyes reflecting a deep understanding. And as villagers passed by her fire, they paused to hear what the young man was saying. The storyteller motioned for them to sit down, and they did, one after another, more and more.
When he finished, the storyteller shared a story of her own, a tale of a young girl who had also had loss in her life, but found the strength in sharing her grief with others. When she finished, another villager shared a story, and then another, and then another. As the night went on and the fire burned hot and bright, they began to realize that their pain was not unique, that others had walked similar paths, and that by sharing their own stories, they could offer comfort and support to each other who might be struggling in silence.
The next morning, the storyteller was gone, and by her fire was a note that read, "You don't need me anymore, for you have each other, and together you have more stories than you will ever need if you just remember to share them."
From that day on, each of the villagers took turns at night lighting the fire and sharing their stories. The story circle grew and grew until eventually the whole village was there taking turns listening and sharing stories for times of joy, times of sorrow, triumph, and loss. And now, children, we will go to our classes. If you don't know where you should go, please go to the whiteboard by the stairs.
Our offering outreach partner for the month of January is Volunteer English Program. A big thanks goes to member Sue Drummond, who nominated this wonderful organization. Today, we are thrilled to welcome Mary Vilter, a board member and tutor, to tell us more about the organization. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you, Tina, and thank you to my fellow tutor, Sue, as Tina mentioned. I'm honored to come and speak with you today about my absolute favorite volunteer activity that I have ever done. I suspect I'm not alone in that I've had the opportunity to do a number of volunteer things over my life, and my favorite is being a volunteer English as a second language tutor with the Volunteer English program. The Volunteer English program provides free one-on-one tutoring to immigrants throughout our community. It concentrates on the objectives and goals of each individual student. And through this one-on-one tutoring, students are able to open their own businesses, help their children more effectively in school, or in the case of my student, her grandchildren, and become citizens. It's especially timely that I'm getting to speak to you today for two reasons. The second, which I'll speak about later, is that we're about to, on Thursday, have an information session online on Zoom about what it is like to become a tutor and what's involved. That's this Thursday. The first reason is that it occurred to me that 4 years ago this very week, the week of January 6th, I was engaged in preparing my student to become a citizen. So after going through the events of January 6th, I had a Zoom session with her to review the more than 100 questions, 10 of which you can get asked as part of your citizenship interview. And my student opened our session by saying, "Mary, I enjoy studying the Constitution." And I maintained my composure and did not burst into tears at the joy of having someone tell me that they enjoyed studying the Constitution. My student then persevered. I had been told by Volunteer English Program staff that these questions, which they are, that students have to learn the answers to, are very complex, and that she should only concentrate on a few in each session. And so I would assign her 3 or 4, and she would generally study 10. And she mastered these. And in one of the most nerve-wracking and yet thrilling events of my life, she passed the interview and became a citizen. And her daughter texted me to say she passed. And I ran around my house, texted my children, told my husband, cried and screamed with joy. I also was involved in watching her place her ballot in the ballot box this past election, and happened to be tutoring her the day after the election. And she said to her daughter, "Mary, cry." Mary is crying. So these are the things that you can be involved in. It's an incredible organization. Sue and I are going to sit outside afterwards at a table. We have brochures and information about becoming a tutor. As I mentioned, there's an information session this coming Thursday. The Volunteer English program periodically, regularly through the year, does online trainings for tutors. I am not a teacher by training, but these tutoring training programs, all conducted on Zoom. The next one is coming up later in January. It's an excellent training. There's support provided to tutors throughout your experience of working with a student. It's a one-on-one experience. They like you to tutor twice a week for an hour and a half each time. If you listen to that and think, I don't feel comfortable, I invite you to come to the information session or consider supporting the organization. We do limp along, as all nonprofits do, and I've found it's really been for me an opportunity, especially now more than ever, to feel like I'm doing something constructive during a very challenging time. So thanks for inviting me.
If you would like to make a donation online, follow the instructions that you see on the screen behind me. If you are in the sanctuary and you'd like to make a cashless donation, scan the QR code that is printed in the order of service. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Of course, it is always a joy when Nathan joins us on the chancel on a Sunday morning. But the reason I asked him in particular to join us this morning is that this Friday is the launch of our new MLUC open mic night that Nathan will be leading. This is a low-stakes, highly encouraging opportunity for performing artists of any medium, any age, any ability level to come out and test the waters, play something, recite something in public. Sign-ups are at 6:30 on the McGinnis Room door. The doors open at 7 o'clock. And in the very worst case scenario that we don't draw many artists, you're going to get to hear this guy at least. And that's always a wonderful thing. So please come out to the open mic night Friday at 7 o'clock to attend and listen, 6:30 if you'd like to participate.
Do you know why we brought you here? He bellowed with a gleam. You're here to play in Brooklyn if you can make the team. I know that you can hit the ball, but there's more to discuss. What I need to know from you is if you have the guts. When they bring the scarlet upon you, you gotta turn the other cheek. You need to stand your ground in silence up against the highest heat. If you lose your head, they've got you, so this'll be our pact. I need to know that you've got the strength to not fight back. So he stood inside the batter's box and took what they could throw. A fastball to the head or reminders of Jim Crow. They spiked him on the base pass, they cursed him from the stands. Even his own manager said he was half a man. But his hitting was electric and he ran in no time flat. He had all of that taunting and he answered with his bat. It's a hard road to travel, but he didn't draw the man. He stood in the long line of those that had the strength to not fight back. From the man who held the bullhorn in the streets of the Castro, to Mahatma's march in India and Kent State, Ohio, to a jail cell in South Africa where a man learned to forgive, to a lunch counter in Greensboro and the Edmund Pettus Bridge, to a muddy march on Washington astride a sea of men, to lessons of humility from a man from Bethlehem who said to love your neighbors, forgive those who attend. And as he died, he showed he had the strength to not fight back. A vicious fist, the strength to not fight back, and the power to resist. When they laughed at them or froze them out, or when they brushed them back, somehow inside they could find the strength to not fight back. So we're at the crossroads, we stand there every day. Can we check our pride? Or must we escalate with a neighbor or a co-worker, a policeman or a client? When somebody cuts us off when we're driving home from work, checking out you do it, how'd you turn the other cheek? When you felt the rage well up, you never said a peep. By the power of example, you more than kept your pact. You showed us all how to find the strength to not fight back. Stand the higher ground, the strength to not fight back, to speak without a sound. When they laugh at us or freeze us out, or when they brush us back, somehow inside we can find the strength to not fight back. Somehow inside we can find the strength to not fight back.
Our ritual, called Candles of Community, is the way we show support and compassion for members of our community who want to share their joys and sorrows during the service. We light a candle for them and ask that together we say, "We hold you in our hearts." Today we light a candle of sorrow for Susan Ritchie, for her 97-year-old mother, Nada, passing away at the end of December. Susan says she was the most wonderful, nurturing mother, and she will forever be in the hearts of those she touched. For Susan and her family, we hold you in our hearts. We light a candle of joy today for Christy Parry, who is excited to share that her first quick reference guide has been published. It is titled Holistic Dog Care for Health and Longevity. Christy, we wish you much success with this work and hold you in our hearts. And we light a candle for all of your joys, concerns, or sorrows that are as yet unspoken today, or are too deep for words. And we hold you in our hearts.
Good morning. As we continue to be in fellowship with one another today, let us just take a moment to invite in the sacred, a moment to invite in the divine, and a moment to connect with the many ways of knowing in this world and the world beyond. I invite you to lower your gaze. I invite you to close your eyes and find a comfortable position to be in as we get connected to our bodies and into your sacred space. I invite you to be still for just a moment, taking a nice deep breath in and exhaling. Breathing in nice and slowly as I offer words of reflection from Thích Han. Meditation is not to escape from society, but to come back to ourselves and see what is going on. Once there is seeing, there must be action. With mindfulness, we know what to do and what not to do to help. Breathing in and breathing out. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known
time we lead ourselves to the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to be in love. Let's try it together. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to take these flowers. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seed to change a life. It is time now. It is time now that we ride. It is time we lead ourselves to the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great generation. To be alive in this great turning, we shall learn to be. One more time. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to take those flowers. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves to the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to be in love.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and Happy New Year. Thank you all for joining us in person today, and thank you for those of you who are online who are joining us. I am honored to be here with all of you today. I want to give special thanks to Reverend John for inviting me to spend time and space with all of you today. I want to thank Tina, there you are, Tina Adams, the worship associate, who has been very helpful, and thank you for companioning me today. I want to uplift David Brown and our music director, who has been such a support and very flexible with working to help create today's service filled with music that supports my ministry and hopefully nourishes your soul today. Lastly, I would like to thank the AV crew back there who have been wonderful in supporting, yes. And I'm really appreciative of all the tips and tricks they have shared with me so I don't pop the mic this week. And for those of you who do not know me, and for those of you who are getting to know me a little bit better, my name is Yvette McDonnell. I am the Congregational Life Coordinator here. I am also a spiritual companion ritualist, an interfaith chaplain, and a UU aspirant. I am a curandera. I am a root woman. I am a sage. I am a seer. And I am a wise woman. And in some places, I need no name at all. And my roots are of the African American Baptist tradition, and my branches spread wide and far to offer space for the many ways of knowing in this world. And today, I would like to invite you on a journey with me today with my Baptist roots, as you can maybe tell by the music that we're playing today in mind. And also, if I say something that stirs you, okay? If I say something that moves you to your soul and your spirit, please say amen. Please, yes. Please say amen. Please say ashe. Please say something. Say slay queen, go girl, something. Give me something as I'm standing up here. I need those encouraging words as I share with you today, as I connect, and it's part of my tradition. Amen. And before I begin sharing with you today, I would like to highlight again today's music selection, which is deeply rooted in the gospel music and the African American experience. And music serves as a celebration and an invitation to connect to the soul of my ancestral roots. And throughout history, many have used music as a source of healing, a source to navigate difficult times. And it's a way to persevere and to move forward. It allows generations to send messages and to plant seeds, showing us a better way forward. And I owe much to those who came before me, for without their struggles, I would not be standing here with all of you today. Ashe, amen, and may it be so. So our spiritual theme this month here at MLUC, can you guess what it is? Yes, stories. And Reverend John shared in the most recent blog post, he said, as we enter a new year full of expectations and anxiety, I want to uphold the power of stories in our lives. Our story, either collectively or personally, can be a touchstone in times of uncertainty. Stories can sustain us. I always feel like having the opportunity to bear witness to other people's stories is a sacred act. They are blessings that help us understand and help us connect to one another. Through hearing people's stories, I personally am able to deepen my connection to others and gain insight into their perspectives. And it also allows me to see the common thread that connects all of us, and it helps me to see the humanity in each and every one of you. And today, I want to share two personal stories about planting seeds and getting into good trouble. So, what do I mean by planting seeds? Well, I'm a truth speaker, as you get to know me. I speak my truth into existence. I am a seed planter, and my life's work is to plant seeds and to get into good trouble. See, this is a job that I have that I cannot be hired for. It is not a job that I can be fired from, because this job was ordained long before I even arrived to this place called Earth. See, a long time ago, my ancestors let it be known. They planted those seeds, and I grew, and I am here today. I sit underneath the shade of the tree that somebody else planted, and I reap those benefits. I am the actualization of my ancestors' dreams and hopes and liberation. And by planting my own seeds, I continue that legacy of hope and liberations for future generations. My daughter's here, so I'm looking at her. So that right there is a whole moment, right? And I'm just gonna say that again because that's just part of my roots, because it feels so good. And as I look at my daughter, it's important for me to breathe those words again. I stand here today because I am the actualization of my ancestors' dreams. I am the hope. I am the liberation. And when I plant those seeds, it's for future generations, for not only my daughter, but your children, your grandchildren, and all the children in our community. So now that I have shared what it means to be a seed planter, let me tell you a little bit more about where I heard the saying, getting into good trouble. It was when my family and I watched John Lewis' Good Trouble. It's a 2020 documentary, for those of you who may not know. It's a wonderful documentary about the civil rights activist and late Congressman John Lewis. The late Congressman John Lewis said, "I got into good trouble, necessary trouble." And he often spoke about his experiences with racism in this country. I consider the late John Lewis a seed planter for sure. See, John Lewis was out there planting those seeds during the civil rights movement. And he was planting those seeds when he was marching over that bridge from Selma to Alabama to Montgomery. He was planting those seeds when he was up in jail, when he was getting brutalized by the police. He was planting those seeds on Bloody Sunday. He was planting those seeds when he was jailed and hospitalized. He was planting those seeds when he was up in Congress making change. The late Congressman Lewis said, "When you see something that's not right, that's not fair, that is not just, say something, do something, get into good trouble, necessary trouble." So, let me tell you, one of the things that I do best, and one of the things that I am known for, is getting into good trouble. It's like my superpower. And as I said earlier, this is not a job that I can be hired for, nor a job that I can be fired from. And one of my earliest moments of getting into good trouble was watching my mom, Janice Johnson, plant her own seeds and get into good trouble. So I want you to picture this. Every time I say that, I always feel like Sophia from the Golden Girls. So picture it. It's 1983, and the United States Congress had just passed legislation designating Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a federal holiday. Okay? Do you all remember that? But it wasn't until 1986 that the first nationwide observance took place. And at that time, I was about 9 years old or so, and in the 4th grade. And my mother started to keep me home from school because the school that I went to, the school district, did not observe the holiday. Sound familiar? Brown versus Board of Education? You know. Right. So the school where I went to did not observe the holiday. And so for about 4 years, every year, my mom would keep me home from school. And we would watch PBS specials and movies about important African American and Black figures in Black history, which is also American history. And I learned about people that I would have never learned about in school. And I especially remember we watched a series on PBS called Eyes on the Prize. Have you all, yeah, you've seen that? Great, right. This is a 14-part documentary series that shared various stories of many individuals and their experiences during the civil rights movement. And year after year, the day after MLK Day, my mother would send a note to school explaining why she had kept me home and why I was absent, and to have my absence excused. For 4 years straight, my mom sent the note, and for 4 years, my absence was not excused. So not only did my mother plant seeds of change, she planted them for future generations. She modeled what hope and liberation looked like in the face of adversity. I was like a co-conspirator with my mother at that time. And even though I didn't fully grasp and fully understand the seeds that my mother was planting at the time, I started to have a better understanding that when you saw something that wasn't right, you had to say something and do something. So, meanwhile, between that time and 12th grade, let's fast forward, I got into a lot of good trouble. And by the time I had reached 12th grade, I had created so much good trouble. It was a time in 1993. I was at a predominantly white school close by, where The Color Purple book by American author Alice Walker was a hot topic. Can you guess why? Very similar to what's happening now. They were talking about banning the book. And they were talking about banning this book from the honors reading list. And at the same time that conversation was going on, I was reading Huckleberry Finn, Huck Finn, a classic, right, in English class. We had to read this book out loud in English class. And I'm not sure if you're aware or not. At the time, because it has since changed, but at the time, Huck Finn says the N-word fully and completely 219 times. We had to read this book out loud, and our teacher, she provided no context for the word. She did not encourage the use of the N-word versus the full-out word. And day after day, I heard the N-word fully and completely roll off the tongues of my teacher and my classmates as they read the book out loud. But yet no one was moved to question if that book was culturally responsive. So my 17-year-old self knew some people in the school wanted The Color Purple book banned, not only because of what they deemed to be controversial, but because of who and what the book's author represented. The intersectionality of queerness, Blackness, and Afrofuturism. I also knew that hearing the N-word repeatedly from my teacher and my classmates was not only wrong, but it was also a blatant act of racism. And just like John Lewis, I saw something that was not right, that was not just, that was not fair, so I had to do something. I had to get into good trouble, necessary trouble, and I initiated a protest with my mother by my side. So back then, we didn't have the convenience, as you know. There was no Facebook, there was no X, there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter. We had to get our message out the old-fashioned way. How do you think that was? Telephone, right? Yes, we had to use word of mouth, and we had to use the landline telephones. My mother had contacted the president of the NAACP. We contacted the news stations, and we called for our supporters to rally with their voices, to create signs, and to wear the color purple in a united front against the proposed ban of the book to the school board meeting. That night, there were at least 150 people present. I took to the microphone to speak out against the ban and to draw attention to the 219 times the N-word was said in Huckleberry Finn, suggesting that perhaps we should be having a very different conversation. The president of the NAACP, my classmates, and many others joined passionately advocating for the preservation of the Color Purple book. And yet, on February 12th, you can look this up on the internet, because that's what I did. I couldn't remember the date, but it's there. February 12th, 1993, the board voted 5-4 to ban the Pulitzer Prize winning book from the required reading list. And copies would, however, remain in the library. So even though the book was banned, something powerful happened that night. Seeds were planted. People got into good trouble. And I have no idea how those seeds blossomed. But I do know that they grew. Today, I wanted to take a little bit of time to share these stories with you, to emphasize the importance of storytelling in our lives and how one little tiny seed can make a difference. I share these stories with you today because I noticed that January has a bunch of events unfolding. And this January, is filled with the irony and the opportunity and complexity, mingled with a touch of anxiety and uncertainty. Amen. Today's January 5th. And as we approach January 6th, which is tomorrow, our nation marks 4 years since the insurrection, a moment that still resonates deeply with me, and I'm sure with many of you as well. And in my short time here, I have heard many here in this congregation express feelings of unease and anxiety about the upcoming inauguration on January 20th. And I'm also not sure if you know this, but coincidentally, it's also the day that Martin Luther King Jr. Day is. So I shared these stories with you today because I wanted to offer a glimpse of hope, the importance of seed planting. And this January, there's a lot to unpack. But this convergence of all of these events that are happening, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to pause. It's an opportunity for us to take just a moment and breathe. It's an opportunity for us individually and collectively to move forward with hope, peace, and love. It's an opportunity to recognize the complexity. And let us embark on this journey of complexity as we unpack what lies before us and cherish our UU values of faith, interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, equity, and it's all anchored around what? Love, amen. And as I offer a little seed for you to take with you today, it's a little affirmation set to song, and maybe some of you know this already. I would invite you to repeat after me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. I invite you to rise in mind, body, and spirit. And let us unite our voices as we sing This Joy, composed by legendary gospel singer, artist Shirley Caesar. Because together we can create a chorus that echoes love and resilience together. Amen. Ashe, and may it be so. And as we head out in the world today, I would like to send you off with some more seeds in the words of the late Congressman John Lewis. He said that ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting what he called, what? Good trouble, yes. And my friends, this new year, let's get into some what? Good trouble, amen. And let us stay, stand, we can still stand up, yep, and rise. Those of you who are online, rise in mind, body, and spirit, and let us go out with hymn 350, Ceaseless End of Time. And may the seeds you plant today, may the seeds you plant be plentiful. May they be purposeful and filled with love. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so. Thank you. Thank you.